we made the regional tournament. And my niece, Elena, said, no, ma'am. My team, the Tuckerman Bulldogs, made the regional tournament, but they made the vacation home last night as well. So I do understand about being at home. Let me say this. This is one of the greatest honors that God has placed before me, is to be able to come back to my school, and to be able to say a word or two to you today. I hope I'm not going to be boring. I'm going to try to talk about some things that led me to where I am today. And I'm grateful to God where I am today. I am a retired educator. I taught for 39 years, and I taught K-12 vocal music. I was not the quote-unquote ordinary teacher. You can just imagine me in a classroom with a bunch of babies that I loved and enjoyed so much that if I hadn't been poor, I wouldn't have taken the check. But my kids were show choir, so that meant we sang and danced at the same time. We did top 40, we did gospel, we did country, we did classical, we did every genre that you can imagine. And one of the reasons why I've been retired 7 years is because I was their mirror image. And you see these shoes I have on today? You see that heel on there? I wore shoes like that in the aisles of the auditorium to direct the choir. And like I said, I was their mirror image. So that meant whatever they were doing on stage, I was doing in the aisle. Do y'all know who Bruno Mars is? Yeah. Okay. Do y'all know who Justin Timberlake is? Yeah. Okay. Bruno is responsible for my neck and shoulder injury, and Justin Timberlake is responsible for my hip and knee and ankle injury. So I brought it to the house. I couldn't do the moves that those guys were doing in high heel shoes anymore in the aisle. But I had so much fun with my babies. My Panther brothers and sisters, I began my education at a little grade school called Grace James. It was a segregated school. That meant that nobody was there but the people that looked like me. I was there until 5th grade. And then I went to an amazing place called Hury Elementary. Anybody went to Hury Elementary?
Yes.
Okay, let me hear you then. All right then. I think Hury Elementary is pretty special. I went there in the 6th grade. Well, let me back up a little bit and tell you something. When I got there in the 6th grade, wasn't paying attention, didn't know, I was just a kid. I had been double promoted in the segregated school because my mama sent me, my worst mama sent me to school reading and writing. And so they moved me along because some of my classmates couldn't, and they couldn't take time with me. So when I graduated from here, I was only 16 years old. And so when we moved to Hury School, which was a white school that became integrated my 6th grade year, my mother said to my teacher, Miss Gwenny Krause, she said, Miss Gwenny, that baby did okay at Grace James, but how is she gonna do here when you know we got the books when y'all were finished with them, so we 4 to 6 years behind y'all, and then she's 2 years younger than everybody else in her class? And Miss Gwenny said to my mama, leave her alone, Norma Jean. Let's see what she can do. I wish they'd have asked me. Those were some tough days. I had to work my little fanny off. But little did I know, until my mama and Miss Krause told me when I graduated high school, that they had the conversation again. And she said to my mother, Norma, she's average and above average. Leave this baby alone. So I graduated here in 6th grade, and life has just been upward ever since. Went to Clarksville Junior High School, 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. Clarksville Senior High, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. And I, my brothers and sisters, was the first senior graduate from here because we dedicated that school over there on January 16, 1972. I graduated in 72. January 16th was my birthday. We moved from Cherry Street to this school my senior year. So my class was the first class to graduate from Clarksville High out here. Now some will say they were the first because they were here all year. I beg to differ with you. I was there, and we were the first. And we were so, so proud. Are you proud of your school? Yeah. Come on now. Let me say this to you that I used to say to my students every day. Adulting is overrated. There's a lot of responsibilities that come with adulting. Adulting just doesn't mean that you get to do what you want to do. Adulting means that whatever you do, you have to be responsible. Yes, there are benefits to adulting, but there are consequences. Are you ready for the consequences? As students in this high school, are you ready for some of the consequences that you deal with now? No. I know. I made those crazy decisions too. My mom and daddy didn't know nothing until I became a mama. And my husband became a daddy. And my bills were $1,200, and our paychecks was $800. Now, you math wizards, y'all math that and make that work. Jesus is the only one that fed 5,000 with the few fish and little loaves of bread. That $800 didn't stretch to $1,200. Okay? So that was my first instinct of adulting might not be quite as much fun, because in the past, mama and daddy had always paid the bills. Mama and daddy had always stepped to the plate when I got in trouble. Now, did they say that I was right when I was wrong? No, ma'am. No, sir. They were there to pick me up, turn me around, and point me in a different direction and say, don't go that way no more. And I don't know about you all, because life is different now in 2024. But my mom and daddy didn't say things twice without some kind of consequences. Amen. So when they said, don't do that anymore, they meant right then. They didn't mean do it 2 or 3 more times because it was fun and see how things worked out. The thing is, our choices sometimes. We think, okay, that was fun. I'm gonna drink 15 beers and I don't weigh but 90 pounds. That was fun. That's alcoholic poisoning. That's called death. I didn't come to talk to you about alcohol, but I come to talk to you about choices. Okay? We raced down the street. I beat him. I was going 110. Your family won't even be able to recognize you. Choices. One of the good things that I had a chance to tell my mom and dad before they died was they were right about everything. Amen. They were right. I wouldn't say the things to my son in teaching and advising that was said to me because that was kind of cruel. That was kind of harsh. But I learned real quick as a school teacher that some of my mama-isms really work. Mm-hmm. I taught high school as well as elementary. And on the first day of high school, I said to each one of my classes, I can be your best friend or your worst nightmare. I'm great at both. I like the friend thing best, but I'm doggone good at the nightmare. And you don't need to get sleepy in my room, because you will not dream sleep. You will have a nightmare, and I'm that nightmare. And they kind of laughed at me. They kind of thought that I didn't mean what I was saying. But over the years, they found out I was very true to my word. They found out that I didn't bother anybody and that I was fair, but I was not to be bothered. While I was in high school, my favorite things to do was to sing. I was blessed with a vocal scholarship to the College of the Ozarks. At that time, it was College of the Ozarks. I was blessed to get a scholarship, but there were some people that were so special in my life. In 7th grade, I had a gentleman by the name of Dean Yeager that touched my life. In 8th grade, a lady by the name of Jane Addams came along. You probably know her as Jane Kirby. She touched my life. She introduced me to a gentleman by the name of Dr. Charles Dawson, who was a professor of vocal music at Ozarks. At 16 years old, I became the first freshman to receive a full tuition vocal scholarship to the College of Ozarks. That was major. As a 68-year-old retired educator, I now know that was major. In those days, I just thought, thank you, that's cool. I didn't know what it really meant. And then that very gentleman saw something in me that my mother and father said they saw from day one. He saw something in me, and he came to me one day in voice lesson, and he said, Bagsby? That's what most of my friends called me. Bagsby? I said, yes, sir. I was so excited because Dr. Dawson was cool. I loved coming to choir. I loved singing. It was just cool. And then my first year, I found out that the choir went on a 10-day tour, y'all. Now, those are some of my most fondest memories, and then there's some heartbreaks in there too. But we traveled all over Texas, Oklahoma, Missouri, and we sang at Presbyterian churches. And we got to meet people, we got to do things. But that second year, right before choir tour, he said, Bagsby? I said, yes, sir. Yeah. What you want me to do, Doc? He said, I need you to be in the Miss College Ozarks pageant. A pageant? What you know about? He said, Bagsby, with the talent that you have, you'll win that thing. I still kind of looked at him because I didn't like competing like that. I just like to sing. I don't want to try to sing better than anybody else. I just like to sing. I really like to sing with other people the most. And I said, I don't know, Doc, I'll talk to you about it later. Well, some of my friends were talking about the Miss C of O pageant, and they were so excited about it. That's when I found out there was something called a swimsuit competition. I barely weighed 100 pounds. I wasn't a mama then, so I didn't have anything up here or back there. And I looked like a little boy. And all of my friends, because I was 18, some of them were 20, all of my friends, they looked different from me.
Vicente Martinez, you're being checked out. Vicente Martinez, you're being checked out.
They didn't look like me. They had those kind of figures. And I was going like, oh, I ain't gonna make me do that. And so I said, thank you, Doc, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to do this pageant. He said, Bagsby, you're gonna do it. And if you don't do it, I'm gonna take your scholarship. Boom. Because when he said, take scholarship, that meant he was gonna involve who? Who you think that was gonna involve? My parents, those folks called Mama and Daddy, them people at 217 Jackson Street that did not play. See, y'all get to negotiate with your parents. I'm not going to so-and-so. I don't want to do so-and-so. We were told, you're going to this place.
Can't go.
I don't want to go to school today, Mom. I want to go to the fair. You're going to school. And then you're going to Girl Scouts afterwards, and then you come to church choir practice. No fair. No fair. Those are people that I was raised by. And so I said, Doc, now let's talk about this. Please don't go to Mom and Daddy, especially that one called the Daddy. Ed Bagsby was not to be played with. He was not to be played with. So I said, Doc, let's don't do this. Bagsby, get your song, and let's get ready. So I started talking to my girlfriends that was going to be in the pageant, and I thought, okay, I'll be in this old pageant. I do that. He want me to do that. I'm not going to win no way. And you know why I thought that I couldn't win? Why do you think I thought I couldn't win? He done already told me I had talent. My friends told me I was kind of cute. Why do you think I thought I couldn't win? Say it loud for me. Huh? Because I witnessed?
Way less. Way less.
Way less? No. Look at me. Look at me. What do you think? Somebody said skin color. All right, that was it. I thought, okay, I'll go do this thing and get him off my back, and I do this whole pageant thing. And so at that year, a lady by the name of Roberta Flack, now I know her as Dr. Roberta Flack. Roberta Flack recorded this song called Killing Me Softly. I heard he sang a good song. I heard he had a crowd. That song finished paying my way through college and gave me spending money. I didn't know that was going to happen at that time. But I sang that song that night, and the same night that I sang that song became Song of the Year. This gentleman, his name is Dave Woodman. Dave was a famous journalist in Arkansas. I think at that time he was Channel 4. I don't know if he ended at Channel 7, but he was Channel 4. And so if you watch the pageants, at the end of the pageant, right before they announce the winner, you have to answer a question. And so at that point, I was answering a question. And at that time, I wanted to be a special ed teacher. And Dave Woodman asked me the question, why do you want to be a special ed teacher? And I said, I want to help, I'm so cute, I want to help people that's not normal like me. I need to tell y'all something today. I'm not normal. So, as a little 18-year-old, not understanding, not knowing, that was not the proper way to say things, but people cheered because they thought that was a good answer because I wanted to help people. But they didn't understand what I said. I did. When I walked off that stage, I said, okay, it's show enough over. I sang that night and probably sang better than I ever have in my life. And talent was 50%. I still didn't think I'd win. I thought I would win Miss Congeniality. In those days, people of color in pageants, no matter how good they looked, no matter how great their talent was, they were awarded Miss Congeniality. So, my expectation first was what? Okay. Wait, not good at all. Didn't want to do it. Attitude was bad. Didn't think I could win. All right, so after all of that, we go backstage and we're waiting on the announcement. Right before, this was when my life totally changed. Right before we got ready to walk up on stage, all of us, they was calling us out one by one. And I was number 8, that was the last contestant. And right before I got ready to walk up, I looked out. And I saw Jesus, he smiled at me. Then I got nervous, because I really wanted to talk to him and say, don't do this to me. These people ain't gonna like me if you give me this, God. They ain't gonna like me, don't do this. Don't give me this title. I think that's my reason. I'm finna win, don't do this. These people gonna start messing with me. I am from Clarksville, Arkansas. I have not been messed with. So why would I go there? Once again, the mind went there. But I walked out on that stage. They called Miss Congeniality. Wasn't my name. I said, they ain't gonna give me nothing. They called second runner-up. And God help me, it was a young lady that couldn't sing at all. And I said, they're really not gonna give me anything. So my best friend that was in the pageant at that time, they called her name, and she was first runner-up. And I thought, well, who are they gonna give this thing to? Teresa's just first runner-up. They did. Oh, I know. But at the time that Dave Woodman got ready to announce that name, I had another best friend. Her name is Rosanna King Taylor. That was up on stage to help crown the winner, and she was going to give the crown to the past winner and give the roses to the winner. But when they called my name, she did all the crowning. Mr. John, I think that's the next one. The next picture. Give Mr. John a hand, y'all. And before you see this picture, I can tell you, yeah, I'm a crybaby. I just almost lost it watching all of y'all walk in here. I've been retired 7 years, and I miss it every day. I don't miss it enough to set my alarm clock again, though. That lady on your right, my left, is Rosanna King Taylor. Rosanna, I think, taught elementary here. That was one of my dearest friends, and man, could she sing. And she ran over there and took the flowers out of the past winner's hand, and she said, I'm crowning my sister. Y'all, that was one of the greatest nights of my life. And I stand here to say that nights like that came because I listened to my parents. Did I do stuff that they told me not to do? Yep. But I did more of what they told me to do. I listened to people that mentored my life. Mr. Blackard, Miss Blackard, Mr. Woodard, Mr. Taylor, Miss Dunlap, Miss Taylor, Caroline Whitson, one of my favorites of all time. I listened to those teachers, and all of those teachers had a hand on my life. And on January 16th, 1972, when this school was dedicated, it was my birthday, and I was going to negotiate with my mama that I was not going to come out here and sing because they'd asked me to sing. And I said, you know, remember, girls, we're going to go do such and such a day. It's my birthday. Sandra Kay and Bertha Jean. Y'all, I got two besties in this audience. And there was 5 of us that used to walk these halls and giggle and grin. Oh, my goodness. And we now know those were some of the greatest of all times. But I told her, I don't want to do that, Mama. Don't make me do that. I want to do such and such. She said, you're going to do that, Aretha Kay. And because she had that kind of, not control, but influence on me, that was the beginning of me truly being asked to sing places and getting paid for singing places. Y'all, the greatest thing in the world that can happen to you in your life is to do something that you love, that's not immoral or illegal, and get paid for it. In college, when I went to Ozarks, I met a guy by the name of Bill Thompson, one by the name of Fred Dowd, and one by the name of Phil Herbert. And this young lady, Rosanna King, we formed a band called Company. Little did we know, we should have been somewhere recording. Okay? I can tell you one better than that. Those names that I just called is my besties, Bertha, Jean, and Sandra. We were a part of a community choir, a gospel choir. There's no gospel choir on the records that could out-sing us. We was glad to sing. Y'all, you know what we did sometimes? Okay. We broke into church just so we could play and sing gospel music. We wanted to play, we wanted to sing, and we love singing so much. My life has been beautiful. This school took care of me, and they sent me to Ozarks. Ozarks took care of me, and they first sent me to Taylor Street Development Center for 2 years. At that time, I taught pre-K, and at that time, I decided I didn't want no babies. I felt like if I came home and I saw somebody that looked like what I had that day, all day long, I might abuse them. I didn't want no children. But God saw better, y'all. He saw better. I have a beautiful son. He's 43 years old. His name is Graylin. And I spent all day long yesterday in the hospital with Graylin in surgery. And I didn't think I was going to get to come. But he looked at me with tears in his eyes and he said, Mom, that's your school. You need to go do this. He reminded me of a time when we were coming home. I live in Tuckerman. It's in Jackson County with Newport. Tuckerman, Newport, Ball Knob, on up that way of 67 till I get to 40 in Conway. Clarksville was playing Ball Knob. And my godnephew, Harold Bishop Williams, was on that team, and probably some other relatives. But we stopped to see him. And as we got out of the car, I heard, Clarksville, Clarksville, dear, oh, hi. I broke into the ugly cry. And my husband and my son are still on that parking lot laying out laughing at me. They thought that was the craziest thing, that alma mater meant something to me. It still means something to me. I'm a crybaby and I almost tear up. But one of the things that will mean the most to me is for you to take your education seriously. First, take your life seriously. Okay? My life is guided by God. You need to choose something to guide you. If I was going to suggest, I would suggest God. And I know in this school, I can't do that. And I don't want to. But I can tell you about my life. My life is guided by God. And I have lots of fun. God doesn't make me give away my fun. He adds to it. You cannot go to the bank and get something out of it if you haven't put something into it. We have a crazy society now where people are walking into churches and killing people. People are walking into schools and killing babies. This morning, when my phone wouldn't work, my laptop wouldn't work, we didn't have nothing, a network, and I was getting those little messages. One of the first things that came to my mind was, it's 2:22:24. Oh Lord, 911, they did something. The whole nation is out, you all. I want you to invest in your life, invest in your education, and be one of those people that will keep things like this from happening to your country. I want you to invest in your life and invest in your community, invest in your school, invest in your family. I want you to invest, not just in yourself, but in yourself so that you can give back. It was most important for me to come here and tell you that some of the people that are here with you, that have been here with you, have helped me to be who I am. Do not take them lightly. When you giggle at them, go home and think about it. You can still be cool and not have to lose your cool when you giggle, but go home and think about it. My sophomore year, Miss Adams taught me this song, and she almost did the doc. She told me, you'll sing this song at graduation. And Miss Adams, no, not me. By myself. Oh, the choir's gonna do this? Cool, because I loved that song. No, Baxby, they just want one person. This song speaks volumes on my life. This song has led and guided me through my life. And if you will allow me, I just want to sing a tiny bit of it. I am not the throat or voice that I used to be, but I claim a little anointing that keeps me a little rolling. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Oh Lord, let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to me. We need that right now. With God as our Father, oh, brothers and sisters, all are we. Let me walk with my brother in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Oh, let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with